Are you cold or something?
And it's pretty cold up here right now, bro.
What's up, everybody? My name is BMax78, aka Brandon. This is episode 70 of the Anime Dojo. I'm alongside Chris and Deon. Gentlemen, how you doing? I don't mind it. I'm gonna leave that in there. It popped up. We're good. I do not care. That was amazing. I'll take it. That's a good outtake. You'll hear that in the podcast version and in the video version. So you're
Man, we're
welcome.
doing great.
Yeah. Some of us better than others.
Fair enough. We have a couple things to get into tonight. We have.
I feel like I did an anime in my city.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. Like I said, this is cool. We have some Demon Slayer news because they added a jewelry. They have some nice jewelry, ranged necklaces, but they also added a couple. We saw a couple watches also in this new jewelry thing they're doing. This looks amazing. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about one thing Mappa's doing with another one of their shows, and it's something they've already done with one show already. It's the other. We'll get into that because this is also they're doing something they don't even need to do, not even necessary. And then the last thing we'll talk about is kind of One Piece stuff because we got a couple new characters for the live action, and one of the characters was specifically picked. And I'm gonna ask the gentleman a question: do you think this is a good idea? But first, let's get into a couple things. I finally caught up on My Hero. I will say this: I won't talk about full the episodes. But I'll talk about me catching up fully. My Hero is cooking now. I have to give My Hero credit. You're cooking now. I don't know why it took y'all so long. And Deon, I have to give you credit. You called it. You said it was going to get there. It has slightly got there for the most part. I think with this last episode, they really are on a collision path towards the back half of the story, getting closer to the final arc and all that kind of stuff.
That manga now.
Say what?
That manga coming out.
Yes, it is. We still have one more. The manga is officially over, so now they can really just kind of push to the end. But I think this last episode, like a 8.5. It was really good, really well done. Chris, did you catch up with My Hero, and what do you think about this last episode? If you did,
I did watch a few episodes, but I am not caught up yet. But
okay.
I can see why they're starting to cook now.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Why do you think they are cooking? What is the big reason for that, you think?
Right now, everything in my head is speculation. So I'm gonna hold off until I catch up.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Deon, have you caught up, and what do you think about this? Like these middle couple episodes after they took in a couple different breaks.
So, I'm not caught up on the anime.
Okay.
Because I've read the manga.
You read the manga. Okay.
Right. So I'm not like. I don't feel like it's too intense for me to just rush and watch the anime. I've been trying to catch up on other stuff.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
But from what I'm hearing, it's starting to align almost very well with the. I don't want to say the end story because that's gonna give out too much, but it's starting to align pretty well with the manga, and we're up for some hot and spicy episodes. It's gonna be really nice.
I will say this. I think it's interesting. I think them having a slower beginning has kind of helped them now. Honestly, I can't blame them for the slower beginning, but I will say they could have got to their middle part faster. I'm not gonna say it was a perfect slow beginning or a perfect pacing. I think the pacing still needs to kind of be fixed in places, but the pacing has gotten better for the middle half of these episodes.
And that sounds like where I'm at. It's still kind of slow, but you can tell it's about to pick up.
Yes, and they're getting to it, and I don't blame them for not going super fast with it. I don't think they should have.
It's well deserved. If it goes where I think it's going to go from here, you got to start off slow because everything after is so explosive that and you won't be able to catch your breath.
Correct.
It's good.
Correct. Which is the fair thing. Which is the thing I'm not surprised by. And then the other part of the news, we're not going to do a whole segment on this, but I'll put it here. Otaku News mentioned with the first episode of Rick and Morty got a 2.7 rating. One of the worst ratings for a show we've seen this year.
Bro,
I'm
surprised it's not lower.
It's bad. And I'm like, now looking back after watching the first episode, I'm like, and I saw a couple other people talk about this, a couple other YouTubers, a couple other news things talk about it. Should this show never have came out? And I'll start off with Deon for that.
I ain't gonna say it shouldn't have never came out. This is what I'm gonna say. If you're going to create a show based off of a show that's based off of a show, I need you to create.
Show Shepton, by the way. Show Shepton.
I need you to be able to make it cohesive and completely it's in its own thing. This show was it picked up after the cartoon, and then it's like they put it through the collider the collider thingy and like warped the entire world of what we know from Rick and Morty. Like, it's ridiculous that this was made this way. Like, even the styling isn't like, all they did was dull the colors and now it's anime. Yay. What? I can rant on this all day long, but I know we don't have enough time for it.
So then let me go ahead and take a turn at my rant.
Yeah,
then.
go ahead.
Okay. So with this being, along with what Deon is saying, it's like they tried to avoid every trope that the original show has done while still yet having them as a story. So it was like as a person who watches Rick and Morty and realizes there is a whole story behind Rick and Morty, and then the fact that y'all went over here and did nothing with it. It was almost like a slap to the face. Like, honestly, like, I hope when they bring back the original show, they make Rick destroy this show in some type of form or fashion.
Ow.
They need to Deadpool Wolverine this show.
Yes. And I haven't seen the movie yet.
The fourth wall and explain this crap.
And you see why a couple episodes ago, I said I had cause for pause with Tomb Raider and Terminator. Now you see why I said I had cause for pause for both of those shows.
Is it even comparable though?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
hold on.
Get your original point out. I'm sorry.
Hold on. No, you're good. I'm gonna say this. Rick and Morty is pretty much comparable to Terminator, in the sense that Terminator has a fan base as strong. In the sense that if you've seen all the Terminator movies, understand the Terminator lore, I think people are going to be like, wait, this doesn't match what we're looking at. And Chris knows he doesn't do that very often. I'm going to point this out. But here's my reasoning. Ultimately, let's say Terminator 0 comes out and they literally they don't change the story, but they try to keep the same vibes.
Okay. I'm going to put it to you this way, using your own analogy. Terminator already came out. People did watch it, and you heard nothing bad.
That's fair. That is fair.
I heard nothing. So
I think the thing is, and it's something we've talked about prior, it's trying to get this new generation to watch anime, and it's not working in these anime companies' favor.
I'll say this because I'm disgusted with you, Brandon. I am absolutely appalled that you would compare the fan base of Terminator that's been around since the 80s?
80s. Yep.
To Rick and Morty?
But here's the thing. Here's the reason I'm comparing them. Think about the fact Rick and Morty is probably one of the few animated shows outside of like Family Guy, The Simpsons, that probably people have understand most of the references from who don't watch the show naturally. I understand most of Rick.
As
I
it's
understand,
pop culture.
but it's funny. I understand most of the Rick and Morty references, and I was kind of interested to see where they're going to take the show.
The only show that could probably do a accurate reference of Rick and Morty would be Futurama.
Fair, fair. I don't know. Hey, I think it's interesting because I think if it's getting a 2.7, the people who made this probably didn't expect it to be doing this bad.
Yeah, they did. They knew it when they wrote it. They knew it when you can't make an episode that bad and not know it's bad.
Oh, yeah, you can.
How? Name.
Somebody had to greenlight. Somebody was in a room, and everybody probably felt the same way, but nobody spoke up.
Look at the ending of Game of Thrones. People were so
Somebody
hyped.
was.
Wait now. Wait now. Don't bear across. You ain't strong enough to hold now. The ending of Game of Thrones was bad for Game of Thrones. It was not bad for TV and movie alike. It was bad for Game of Thrones, just like the ending of The Hobbit. It's just like the ending of Star Wars, just like the ending of Jurassic Park. It's bad for what the franchise is, not bad for cinema in itself. Rick and Morty, this was bad for anime across the worldwide. This was a bad anime in itself.
Suicide Squad was better. Is better.
Well,
Suicide.
I have said
I hate Suicide.
I've said that.
Was better.
Yes, Mash. Mash it was better.
MASH is better. Fair enough. But it's funny. I said that. I said Suicide Squad was better, and I said that's a low bar to cross over.
Bro, if you really want to set the low bar, Power Rangers is still and forever will forever be more powerful. Like, bro.
I'll tell you. I'll ask you this question, B.
Go ahead.
Because I said you can't make an episode this bad and not know it. Yes, somebody had to greenlight it, but you greenlight stuff before it's made, right? And then you go through it, you spend all this money, you get the final edit, and you sit down and you watch it and you go, I just spent all my money on this.
Yep.
But here's the thing.
Yep.
I agree with that. I do.
Money spent though, so you got to put it out there.
I agree with that, but also in that case, if that's the way you're going, you would have done focus group testing. You would have done a lot of other stuff before you got to the point of putting out that first episode. You would have done a pilot episode to get the money for, like,
what if you don't have the money like that? It costs money to create an episode.
It do.
Yep.
It do.
It costs money to create an episode, even a pilot episode. It costs money. And as this studio is trying to create something that nobody else has done before, it's going to cost money. You got to have people working on it, engineers, all that, CGI, everything. You got to have all of
it. Brand, do you remember what I call each and every movie, show, TV, anything? It's somebody's investment.
Yeah, it is somebody's investment.
I'm just the creator probably went up to his investors like, I can't sell this. This is crap. And they said, well, you're not getting any more money. What are you going to do? So I guarantee you the third episode is way better. Guarantee you. It's still going to be trash, but it's going to be way better.
So my question is then, to back off your point, should they have not referenced the cartoon at all and just gone straight?
Because then it's not Rick and Morty.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. You have two dilemmas then, because you either have to reference the cartoon to make it make sense, or if you don't reference the cartoon, it doesn't make sense. But on both ends, they did both wrong, and ultimately, if you watch the first episode, it acts like a mess because it doesn't have any cohesion at any one point.
How about we just don't call it an anime and call it a sub cartoon?
I really don't even want to call it that.
That's a
This needs to be locked away with Dragon Ball Evolution.
mm.
Nah, bro. Nah. Because at
Here,
least they got the screams and stuff, right?
here's the thing. If you wanted something like this, you know what you could have done? I would have been cool with Futurama. I would have been cool with Scooby Doo. I would have been cool with pretty much anything else.
Okay, Futurama has had an anime episode and it was fire.
It
And what was the
was
other show you said?
fire.
It
I
was
said
fire.
Scooby. I said
Look,
Scooby Doo.
Rick and Morty has
Scooby
had
Doo has their own.
They do have their like own cartoon anime thing in Japan. I think they are gonna make. Yeah,
There's already one and it is fire.
it's good. So like, it's hard to press to me because I don't want to see a day, and I know we're gonna get to that point. I don't want to see a day a popular show ends up getting an anime adaptation that doesn't need one.
This makes me not want to watch Rick and Morty ever again.
That's the other problem I think we're gonna have. A lot of people don't want to watch Rick and Morty anymore because this is just kind of like you're
No,
kind of
Feeling that
no,
I'm
because I want to watch Rick and Morty. It makes me want to go back and watch Rick and Morty.
But it makes it. But see, I'm getting the feeling that I'm going to have to watch because it picks up right where the other one leaves off. It's giving me the feeling that I'm going to have to watch this in order to understand anything else that comes out from Rick and Morty.
No, please
And
God, no.
oh,
I
so
don't
this is gonna be a bridge gap. So basically, you have to watch the anime, and then when the show comes back out, you're gonna have to figure out what that would be so stupid, but also kind of not kind of makes sense
No,
if they did
but there
that.
is, you know, that Rick and Morty meme where they just finished that mission and they get back into their ship and they just break down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's gonna happen when the Rick and Morty show comes back. They're gonna show that meme like after them like destroying this planet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what y'all think in the comments because I'm probably not going to catch up on the Rick and Morty show. I'm not the big. I'm a fan of the characters, but I just think it's not
No,
great.
the anime is dropped for me. It is.
It's not something I go back and watch. But I will say this: ultimately, I think the other thing about this is kind of like the cause for pause kind of thing of don't turn everything into an anime, but also don't give give things the time of day if you know you can't make them to their fullest extent.
that part.
Because the one thing I will say, and Chris, you're gonna hate me for saying this, or not hate me, or kind of like this for like kind of hate me for saying, but like me for saying this. I would rather go tell somebody if you're a Cyberpunk fan to go watch Edge Runner because it does everything that Rick and Morty tries to do, and still hits the bar on lore, characters. Things you do in
Wait
the
a
game.
minute. I have to call you a hypocrite now. I'm sorry, bro.
Go ahead. Why?
Think about it. Why? Oh, if they did a good job with that, why are you worried about Terminator?
I'm worried. Okay, I'll give you my. I'm not as worried about Terminator. I'm not. Okay, I'm worried about Terminator a little bit because they have the history. They have all the history they can play off of. I'm more worried about Tomb Raider because Tomb Raider also has a history, but we really have. Remember, CD Projekt Red helped with Edge Runner.
See,
I'm
I'm
not
not worried about Tomb Raider. As long as you make Lara Croft fine, people are gonna watch it.
But it's also the thing of if you've played the games and know what Crystal Dynamics has done with the games, you have to give her some kind of lore that makes this make sense. Because if you don't, people be like, "Wait,
You don't,
like,
because
huh?"
there's no real backstory outside of the video games. There's no real backstory. There's the story of what she's doing at the time with little hints of a backstory. So you can pretty
Now,
much create anything.
like,
Okay.
okay, Brandon, how would you feel if they made live action Devil May Cry, but Dante was black?
I actually wouldn't. It's funny if you kept the same mannerisms, I wouldn't care.
Where my pot? Where my pot?
Yep. I mean, ultimately,
Cook them, my boy.
I'd be down. I'll be down. Like, it wouldn't be a bad thing. You kept saying
We're,
manners and kept saying
it's not the fact that he's black. It's the fact that why would you change the character?
you wouldn't.
That's the point.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're both
same
right.
stigma.
You're right.
They gonna
It,
keep it.
it's a thing where I think it's gonna just be funny to see how this. I will say this: it's 2.7 right now. It'll probably stay there. I have a hunch though; it might get to 5%. I think it'll get to at least 5%.
Episode 3 or episode 5. 4 is going to be trash, but episode 3 or episode 5
It
is
will get
going
to
to
like 5.
solidify.
It's
If
gonna go up a little bit, maybe 5% voting, that kind of stuff, but nothing too crazy. But let's go from that to something else interesting. Demon Slayer made some really nice jewelry, rings, and then these watches. I'm gonna start off with Chris for this. Chris, are we about to get a lot of anime gear or anime themed jewelry and clothing? Because we've all saw the One Piece thing with lacrosse, but that was kind of weird. Not really a full on collab. Like it was full collab, but nothing like anime style, like just like the logo and stuff.
Now,
But what do you think about?
That is a good question, bro. Because does anybody know how much those watches are?
I didn't look at prices.
Because to me, that's what's going to set that apart from the stuff I can get at an anime convention versus the stuff I either have to special order or go to a special shop to get. So if I would genuinely like to see how Casio or somebody would do a JJK watch or something like that. So I can honestly get behind this, but it has to be done with every brand signature style. So this could be a birth of fashion if done correctly. That's what I think.
So
G-Shocks came back out with a bunch of them.
So these are going to be in Japan. Look like only for right now. They run between 49,500 yen to almost 60,500 yen. So equivalent to about $340 to upwards of 438.
440.
See, to me,
So
I would probably end up seeing that at an anime convention down the line.
okay, I can see it. It's just interesting because
That's coming up Amazon, bro. I ain't finna spend no 340 for no Tanjiro
You
watch.
that's yeah.
I can get that off Amazon right now. Look on Amazon right now. You can get the same looking watch for $30.
But these look like Casios or like what's the high? I forget what the other high end brand.
I'm a watch guy too. Like I wear watches all day long. I'm not. Mm-mm.
Oh, so this is a Japanese. This is a Japanese watchmaker.
Yeah.
Right.
See, like look,
And you
Casio.
know,
You know, like
G-Shock and whoever new making watches now.
Mm-hmm.
Watch brands is outdated now. Now that we got all these smart watches and stuff. Watch brands, they
Fair.
either for the rich or the rich. So
mhm.
you
But
gotta
I
get
do find it funny how Rolex has a smartwatch made
right.
by
Like, that's what I'm
Samsung.
saying. If it's not a smartwatch, most people are not looking for the brands. So if I can get this same style watch off of Amazon for $30, why am I paying $500 for this?
So the jewelry, so like the earrings run you $64, the necklaces and rings run you 115, and then some of the other stuff runs you about $90 US. So it seems
Nah,
like the jewelry is a little more cheaper, but not the watches themselves.
Yeah.
so it could be just the fact that it's in Japan too, because I know a lot of things that I've seen have been cheaper in Japan.
Yeah,
And so
and that's
if
the
they
thing.
brought that into a U.S. market, they'll probably try to throw another zero behind there if they can.
Correct. The jewelry I can't see going up because that's not something you would want to go up. The watches, yeah, I can see the watches be closer to $4,000 if they really wanted to add another zero on those. but they don't look nothing out of the ordinary. But back to my original kind of like question about this: do y'all, and I like I said, I'll start with Chris with that. Do y'all think we'll get more themed anime stuff?
Yes.
But what and how do you think this is going to be a normal thing in anime lexicon or just people's life where they can show off their anime fandom with these watches or clothing or whatever?
Well, let's see. I'm saying yes, but then also the growth of it depends on how how each brand carefully stylize it as their own, as well as how well anime does in the next 10 to 20 years.
Okay, okay. Do you have the same kind of sentiment with that, or do you have a different take on it?
Well, I kind of feel like this is nothing new.
Hmm?
Like, I mean, when Demon Slayer first popped out, I had Hanafuda earrings in my shopping cart for like 2 weeks until I was like, why do I need them, bro? But
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
yeah, like it's not nothing new. It's been around for a while. I mean, way back to even cartoon theme stuff and Pokemon theme stuff. If we want to stick with the anime, like it's just getting more publicized the more you get into the culture, but it's
Mhm.
always been there.
It's also funny to me because I'm gonna bring this up because I never really understand this culture, but this is a culture I'm still gonna try to understand. I've never really understand the plush culture, plushes. I've never really understand. I've never really understand like teddy bears, all that kind of stuff. And anime is probably one of the biggest groups where they do the plush stuff, and it's actually kind of interesting to me because you can have a whole room of plushes, a whole room of figures, and it still shows the anime stuff to people. I don't really know how much this is going to be interesting if people start getting um like more themed clothing from different brands or different anime things because it seems like now compared to any other time in I think the animes in the early like 2017, 2018, even 2015, it seems like now people are more willing to go show off their anime stuff and it's like okay, I, I see you have some cool, like people think it's cool and interesting to have, and yet long before that, people thought it was nerdy and kind of weird and kind of out there.
Yeah,
It's it's partially crazy to me now that I think it's more like you say, Deon, more mainstream. Like Chris was saying, more acceptable and kind of things like that. And I don't know really what's next. What's next? What? How can you? What is how do you show off that? How do you keep that fandom showing off? Because people have made clothing styles based on certain characters by using their different patterns and making skirts and things and pants and just like using what the character wears but in modern day clothing, and it's just kind of like, all right, where do we go from here?
I mean, but it's just like everything else in pop culture, right? The more
Mhm.
popular it is, the more you'll see it, and the more you see it, the more things will be made out of it. So the more people are more acceptable, like you say, to anime, and the more popular animes will get, franchises with McDonald's and
Mhm.
getting stylized clothes and tennis shoes and brand name stuff pushed behind it because these brands want to sell. So they're going to sell the things that are popular. It's no different than like Nike putting out Air Forces that have the color theme to what was the show? Naruto.
Oh yeah,
It-
yep, they
It's
did that.
it's it's no different than those type of sentiments. If it's popular, you're going to see more of it. But let's say tomorrow, all of a sudden, nobody watches anime anymore, you won't see it. So as long as the culture is popular, we're gonna see a lot of it.
I I I think that's the other thing I'm kind of seeing, and hey, I'll first be the first one to raise my hands up. I'm wearing a shirt from the company that's from Canada. That's a husband and wife team that looks like food stuff. I get it, I do, but I also follow them on Instagram, and I kind of liked what they had. So I'm like, it, it's the thing where Yeah, is it gonna get overly saturated? No, but like you say, Deon, if it ever falls off or nobody really cares, then you won't see it much anymore. I agree with both sides of the coin.
I
It,
don't feel bad, bro. I'm rocking Naruto right now. So
yeah, it it's funny. It's in the back of my brain because it's always something I always think it's funny from one of the people I work with. She's always like, "How do you watch that stuff?" I used to watch as a kid, but I don't get how you're watching it now. And I'm like, if I explain that to you, it's not gonna make any sense. I can't really explain it to you. I'm not gonna try. And yet, I think that's the other thing I'm kind of learning. People outside the space think it's still kind of weird, but people inside the space don't. But even people outside the space, like, why are they doing the thing at the Las Vegas Sphere? Why, this, that, and the other? And it's just like, okay. Then you get the mainstream stuff about it. So it's kind of just like it balances out that weirdness a
if
little
you
bit.
know, you know.
Yeah. We'll see if they make any more. I personally, the only thing I would actually go for is probably some of the jewelry because the jewelry looks kind of nice. I wouldn't go after the watches. I'm not a huge watch person. I like watches, but I wear a Fitbit. I'm not gonna ever not
Now,
wear my.
what I would like to see is an actual watch bands made for like the Samsung watches.
Oh yeah, if they ever did that, or like I found a Fitbit watch, a Fitbit band that had like the colors of like Demon Slayer,
They
JJK,
got
or
them.
even Kaiju number 8, I would absolutely do that. That would be fun. That'd be
They
fun.
got them. Jump on Amazon, you see 'em.
You'll see, yeah, they've made them. That's
They
not a
got 'em.
surprise.
That's what I'm saying. This stuff has always been around. Like the more popular brands jumping on the bandwagon, they just trying to get money. But
Mm.
them smaller brands, they know what's up. You phone cases, watch bands, headphones. Like you can go to Five and Below right now, and Five and Below, and you'll be able to see anime themed headphones and keypads and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And it's the culture. It's just out.
Yeah, it is just out. Um, but let me know what y'all think in the comments about this. It's actually pretty interesting. I would say look it up for yourself if you really want to see it because comicbook.com, Comic Book Radar did the story about the watches, and then I just found the other one on the same place. I think they were both on from there. Um, so we want to look at them and see what they kind of show off about them. But let's get into this last section of topics because these are two smaller topics, but I wanted to cover both together. Well, Mappa went crazy because Mappa's like, you know what? We've already done Attack on Titan as a movie. Let's just do the JJK arc that is split into two technically and do that as one arc. So what did they do? They literally go, you know what? We'll just take the JJK, the hidden inventory arc and / premature death arc as one movie. Um, I mm, I'll let you go first, Deon, for this because I don't think Mappa should be doing this at all, but they're doing it only because of Demon Slayer. Am I wrong?
I mean, they've been busting out movies since they came out. They with the Zero movie and like I feel like their bag is quick content, putting everything together real fast and throwing it out. Like even last season was two different arcs put together. So this is stuff that they've been doing. Now if they do it good and they do it right, I'm cool with it. But that's the problem. You gotta do it good and you gotta do it right. Now as far as doing it like Demon Slayer, I feel like they've always been compared to Demon Slayer since the day they came out. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so is it fair to compare them to Demon Slayer just because they didn't come out when Demon Slayer came out, or
Probably
is
not.
it they only doing it because of Demon Slayer?
Yeah,
Like I feel like they would have did this anyway because they do it with all their content.
they do. They
But
do.
things are,
It,
you know.
Chris, go ahead. Do you kind of agree with Dion on this, or do you have another take for it?
Mm, I see the similarities, and I can see why they're being compared, but the one thing that kind of sticks out to me as why they're being compared is the fact that they're both kind of birth from Bleach.
Mm,
So when you look at it from that point of view, it kind of puts it into perspective of why the studios are chasing because they're chasing the same audience.
Yeah.
So so when it really comes down to it, like you can only put out so much money. So are you really gonna let your competitors grab all of this money while y'all don't get nothing from it? Or you see what I'm saying? It's a cash grab, but
Yeah.
it's one that has to be done politically and intellectually.
I
Gotta
was
be
gonna
done good. Gotta be done right.
I was gonna call you out on the but before you said the last point. I agree with you there. It's done politically and it's done, um, you know, just on the basis of economics and based on the fact that you're doing because you're seeing your competitor do something. I didn't mind the Attack on Titan one at least because Attack on Titan one just had ended, so making the last arc a movie would be kind of interesting.
Which is now that's dumb. Now
That
that's dumb.
that is dumb. The last arc making a movie that's more dumb.
The
But I could
last
leave
arc was already a movie. Two of
to
them.
like it's like
But it
45
was,
minutes.
like I told y'all last week, it was trash. They gotta make up for what they did.
But the one that even is more, I could see doing the last arc because you have the 2 45-minute episodes and you can just roll the rest of them together. Fine, I'm cool with that. But doing the Himbit inventory and doing the premature death arc, which is a short arc already, it's like that arc is only 7 episodes or something like that.
Mhm.
Why would you do that as a movie when technically, one, it's an older arc of the show, and two, it doesn't really have a reason to be a movie in my estimation.
Same reason why they did the last one. When we got to see Ghetto and them when they was kids as they own arc, and then we jumped ahead in the future and got to see that as a whole arc. But it was still considered one
It
season.
was, yeah, it's one season. I get why. It just, I would have rather you done. I would have rather you just done Shibuya arc, the most current arc as a movie. If you
Nah,
really want,
that was too intense.
okay, all right,
That had
yeah,
too many edge of the seat moments on there to just give out all at once. That was retention right there.
okay,
Now they go hit you over the head with this quick stuff.
all right.
I
I just
mean,
think it's fun.
I
You're
ain't
not
really,
wrong. You're not wrong, Deon. You're not wrong at any point. I just
oh,
think it's funny because the premature death arc was super slow. It was a slower arc. It's more talking heavy. There is a few things you learn about all the characters. There's one big act where it makes one big episode that really kind of pops off to get you where you are on the current timeline. But it it took a while to get that story going. And also the other thing about this news from a Anime Corner and a couple of the places said it's coming out on November 8th in Japan. So it's coming out on the same day. Both these things are coming out on the same day. It it also feels like you could have split these up, but I know you're not going to. I don't know. I think we don't need a bunch of anime movies coming out quickly. That's all I'll say. I don't want to see a bunch of anime movies coming out. We're also getting the one for My Hero, which it's already out in Japan, but we're not getting it in America until after this arc's done. Um, we got the Spy and Family movie, which I haven't seen yet, which I need to see, which is Code White.
you know what?
Go ahead.
My personal opinion,
Go ahead.
the anime world, the real anime world, is getting tired of these fake trash animes calling themselves animes. So they like, well, shoot, what's next? Where can we separate ourselves from this trash? Let's do a movie.
Man,
Let's do a movie. Let's step into the world of the greats like Bleach and One Piece and Dragon Ball Z, and let's do movies.
I mean, you also have Studio Ghibli, who's on almost all their top animes are movie based.
Studio Ghibli,
Is the king of
man,
that.
yeah, like they would be the anime kings because right now they're the only studio that's gotten an Oscar.
Yeah,
Yep.
movies.
Yep. I think the thing is, you're right, Deon. I agree with that. I think the other problem with that is, if you're gonna do that, I think you have to have a good enough reason to make something a movie. Demon Slayer did it because they knew, okay, we can make a Mugen Train art a movie. It did it made a bunch of money. The My Hero Academia movie made in Japan 2.5, I think 2.5 billion yen. So it made them a lot of money. I think the other thing is it has to be
enough reason to me.
It is. There is enough reason. I'm just like you say, and I'm not going to harp on the summer season because I think the summer season has not been bad. It's been good, but there are a few kind of like not great summer animes. So they're trying to be like, okay, we need to kind of punch up some things to get to that level of good. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it goes well. If it goes well in Japan, it's coming out in the US. That's a guarantee.
But let me ask you this: do you not want to see more movies? Or would you just rather see them as episodes?
That's a tough question.
Because you're not going to be both anyway.
They're going to be both anyway. It's a tough question because I think the Mugen Train movie works really well, but the episode breakdown does not on Crunchyroll. How they broke it down episodically is kind of disjointed, and it's missing bits and pieces here and there. I'm okay with doing a movie if it has a good reason behind it. I'm not okay doing one if it has no good reason behind it.
So what do you consider a good reason?
I think in the case, a good reason is for like, okay, this arc's too long and we're not going to be able to tell the whole story just in 12, 15, 16 episodes or longer, even 24. So we'll make the movie to cover everything and also have a little more production value to it. The thing with I think the one that's like, I agree with Chris, the one with Attack on Titan, the last 2 episodes of Attack on Titan were almost 40 minutes each. There's no real reason to do a movie outside the fact you can combine everything together. And I would hope if you're doing that, you're but you're giving us a little more context within the movie of like, not newer scenes, but a couple smaller scenes that connect everything. Be hoping you're doing that.
But have you ever seen an episode of any anime and you were just like, bro, this was so fire? Like, if they would have raised the production of this and made this longer, it would have been fire. Like, you could have gave me the first season of Solo Leveling as a movie, and
you could have. You could have done the first season of Kaiju number 8 as a movie. Yeah, I could have seen that very easily because the way it's paced out ultimately works as a movie. You could literally go, because you said you said this when we watched Kaiju 8. You said that the first 2 episodes should have been together. You think the last episode makes sense, but everything in between is kind of random. Well, if you do it as a movie, the randomness kind of goes away.
It makes sense. Yeah,
makes sense across the board.
It's also the problem. Then I feel like if they were going to do AOT as another movie, they should have did all the episodes of the last season before the movies into a movie.
So you're saying season or the final before the final season, do that as a movie, and then you just have all right.
That trash is out, bro. It's already cooked.
No, what I ever want to
no repurpose garbage, bro. This ain't no recycling center.
Here's the other one. Here's the other one I think you could have done this movie, and I think this is going to be kind of funny for me to say this. If you took MASH and combined MASH as it, but here's why. If you took MASH and combined everything together, I think that flows better because then the characters don't feel out of place. And you meet all our characters along the way, and the pacing of how he just kind of randomly does things doesn't will work because he gets stronger over time. That time break doesn't really happen. You know, it's a basis of like
Nash needs to take a page from Wistoria.
that's the
Man,
point.
need to take a nap.
I'm not going to take a nap. Well, we're getting it back soon. Soon, I think. We haven't got enough of that. Yeah. I mean,
they rewriting their whole careers.
your question is valid, Deon. Your question is super valid. I like a good movie, but I don't think everything should try to be a movie unless it has a basis in itself to be one. Going off Chris's analogy for AOT, I would rather you done that for season, I think it's 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, where they just do a bunch of talking and the backstory stuff. I would have loved that movie because it just is a bunch of talking anyway. It's naturally just them talking about the history with a little bit of fighting. Yeah, I see that's more, But we'll see.
But they also got to keep up with the big boys.
That's also true. That's also true.
You got to keep up with the ones you're being compared to, the big three and the sub. Like you got to keep up with them. And between Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, you got to come up with like 60 movies to even compete.
Yeah.
With as far as they movies go.
You know what that's like? I'll give you a perfect comparison.
Mm-hmm.
If you're flying in an airplane, the higher you get, the more ferocious the winds are.
Mm-hmm.
So either you're prepared to take it that high, or you will crash.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, I can see what you're getting at. Basically, you're always chasing number one. You're always chasing the top, and you're pretty much fighting to get to that top point.
Ooh,
Because think about it this, huh?
Can I piggyback off your analogy?
Go ahead.
The higher up you get, right? Also, the harder it is to see the ground where you come from.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Like any large skyscraper, it has a firm foundation.
And that's why I think Demon Slayer can get away with it because they've had a foundation that's been so strong that us getting 3 movies at the end of the last arc,
Nobody's
because they're like, oh no, why would you complain about that? Everybody's like, okay, cool, you're giving us the last Infinity arc in 3 movies.
Yeah, especially because it was trash. But
yeah,
your studio is known for doing trash work right now, so you got to come out with something on top. Like JJK was cool. Like that's your thing. Solo level. Your whole network though is trash right now.
Yeah, I mean, Mappa's trying to get back to where they're like still the top dogs in anime and over there in Japan, and they're
gonna lose out to Sonic the Underworld.
Yeah,
it's just it's funny because I think they try hard but they can't compete.
Sony is going to come sweep them under their feet, bro. Watch.
Yeah. But before we get in the charts, let's get to this last little thing, and then we'll get to the charts. So, One Piece live action season 2 has been announced. We've got a couple of character announcements. We got a couple more as of this past week. One of them is for a character I think is an older gentleman or like a gentleman character. The other one's for a lady. And the lady one was actually kind of interesting because Oda specifically picked the actor to play this character. I'm going to ask this question because I know y'all are both One Piece fans. And I'll start for Chris for this. Do you think that is too much creative control, or do you think that the right amount of creative control? Because when somebody who's made the series goes, I'm picking this actor to play this character, that pretty much tells him he already likes the actor, or he's seen something in the actor.
Okay, this is the funny part. because I'm if I was sitting next to him, it would be like poking him. Because the fact that I actually like the live action One Piece, I'm excited for who he got to play whoever. Because he also chose all the other characters and all the other actors.
He did.
So I am happy with that. I'm ready to go. Like I want to see why you chose her. Like I want to see why you chose everybody that you chose, especially the old doctor lady because I really wanted Jamie Lee Curtis to play her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I it was interesting when they mentioned for her specifically, not for the guy that they just showed at the casting. For her specifically for the casting of this character, he picked her properly, and it was kind of like okay. But I also knew he picked up with some other characters from the first season. Deon, same question to you. You can take it however you like. I asked this, not short and sweet, but condensed. That's all I'm gonna ask.
No, I can do short and sweet. I can do short. I don't know how sweet it'll be.
Fair that. Figure that. Fair enough. Go ahead.
No disrespect to Oda-san. Sensei, you're too nice for your own good, bro. Nice for your own good. I love you. I love your work. Like, too nice, man. Everybody who asks you for a job, you ain't got to give them one, bro. Just know that. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, cause yeah, he picked everybody. This Luffy is so goaded in this new world, bro. And y'all know how I feel about him. And he was handpicked, hand chosen, like Jesus. He was handpicked by the anime god, Oda-san. And yeah, trash, bro. So I'm not excited to see nobody else, bro. Not excited at all. Did y'all see Chopper?
I was in Chopper.
No.
Did y'all see who they?
Oh, so the lady. Okay, go ahead. What's with the
Chopper?
Who playing Chopper? I
just
need
seen
to.
it today, bro.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Wait,
you mean the person who's playing Chopper?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I didn't see it pop through.
I did see somebody, but I don't know how accurate that was.
Yeah, it better not have been accurate. That's all I'm gonna say. It better have been some. Nah, it couldn't have been
Oh,
fake.
I'm finna go look.
So the lady who got casted for One Piece is y'all probably know the character better than I do. It's for Miss Wednesday.
Man,
And
who?
Miss Wednesday. I don't know. That's the character's name. The lady's name is last name is Candran. Never heard of her.
You got me.
My bad.
So
I ain't hear nothing you just said. I was looking at this cast list.
So the
Oh my.
character they just casted from as Wednesday is the character from One Piece, and it's the last name is Candran. Don't know much about the actor.
Candarn.
Dran.
Dran.
That's the last name.
Oh, she kind of cute.
Oh yeah.
And here's the thing, y'all. You brought this, and Chris brought this up, and yet we talked about this last week. I mean, it's
I gotta
weird
hear
how.
her voice though.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's also kind of funny because you mentioned this with Robin, Chris. How Robin's actor is probably going to look very cute. She looks cute.
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing? Because he's picking a lot of cute, like good-looking
But
actors, which
this
makes which makes
Who
absolutely
she's
no sense.
playing makes sense though.
Huh?
For him, who she's playing makes sense.
Makes sense.
This is
Makes
one character that I'm like, yo, from where they from, all of that, it makes sense. Like from Alabasta, the whole presence of everything, like it makes sense. I gotta hear how she sound though.
But it's also kind of
Mhm.
interesting. It's also kind of interesting thinking about like Zoro, thinking about the guy that has the cross sword, cross sword. They look more, what's the word? They have that like they're good looking actors, and they make the characters more looking good than actually what they sometimes what they are. The example one I thought was really interesting. The guy who plays the admiral in the show looks really interesting. And it's actually kind of interesting. Like, wow, they found somebody that's pretty good for the admiral, and he's actually really well done as the admiral. It
I'm
kind of
looking at how they matched all these other actors too. Like, wow.
they got him close. They got him really close. It's gonna be insane if Oda is actually doing
Coming Wednesday, bro.
like the hand pick stuff. I think Oda's doing a well enough job, but I also agree with you, Deon. For this point, I think he's also getting help. I don't think he's doing the hand picking by himself.
I think I see a foul though.
What's a foul? What kind of foul?
As in the same actor who played Gramps is playing a different character.
Oh, they're using multiple actors for multiple things. Probably, I can see that.
He would have to
Nah,
be unnoticeable.
don't do that.
I
You're
I
not
brought it
talking
up.
about playing the doctor, are you?
No, playing Broggy.
I think it's gonna be more interesting to see who else he picks for this arc because they're doing it's 6 arcs, right? You remember? I think I said that down. It's 6 arcs total. They're trying to cover season 2.
Yeah.
So how many more characters are we gonna meet between
Um,
those 6 arcs? Because that means we're gonna cover a lot of characters we haven't met yet.
if we meet everybody who we're supposed to meet, it's probably going to be around 30 some characters that stand out. Because
30.
just in the Alabama arc alone, it's a lot. Like you got Crocodile, you got Miss Wednesday, you got her whole family, her whole regime, you got her childhood friend, his whole crew.
Wow.
You got like it's a lot. Then even with the Chopper arc, you got him, you got Chopper, the Doc, the 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 villain dude, the
Mm,
the night dude, and his whole team. The like, it's a lot of people in each arc. That's why I'm
jeez.
like 6 arcs at once. This is going to be a shit show. You didn't even do the first 3 arcs good.
And this is where I disagree because I feel like it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. And
It's gonna be
Netflix is only
okay.
gonna get better because now I feel like because they announced that they're not gonna get into I forget the name of that land, but they're not gonna get into the story where they see Crocodile. So and
They
then
are.
knowing how
They are. They are.
no
That's the
they said they
problem.
weren't. They said they wasn't.
When we it's Wednesday, that's the start of that story.
But
You're
they'll
right.
skip.
That is the start of that story, but they're not
But,
gonna touch landfall.
so they're gonna
They're
Then
not.
skip.
how are
So
exactly? That's the problem. How are we doing that? But we're doing 6 arcs, but we're skipping that whole arc with Crocodile.
they said they're not skipping it. It's gonna be in the next season, dude. That's
So
So
it's
how do you go and meet Chopper and all of this, and then come back?
so it has me.
we don't know at what point that's gonna be. We're
But
gonna
you
see her
don't.
as an actor.
Hold on.
How do you do 6 arcs in
It,
You-
here's the thing. I don't disagree, but I think the thing is, we saw this with a show me and Chris watched. What show was it where they split things around? We're like, wait, this doesn't come up. Oh, the Last Airbender.
yeah,
Last Airbender
But
technically did a thing where they added things in the first season we don't see till later. And it's like, okay, why? But you did it to give us the context. So it's reverse. They're taking out things that we're going to see later.
but that's the thing. They're not taking the arc out completely. And then the second thing is that we don't know when she's going to appear in the episodes that they're going to show.
Correct.
We don't know the order. We don't because the one of the biggest problems that I actually agreed with when it comes to Deon was the pacing of the show itself. The pacing of the show itself can't is like very scrutinized to the point to where they just took out the most memorable parts. But for me, that's fine. Now, however, if you
See,
miss crucial points, that's going to turn me off too. So I see where Dion is coming from, but I can't say what's going to happen for certain until it happens. But
see,
until then, I'm
it's
good.
more than that, though, bro. It's more than just leaving out arcs. It's more than just skipping over arcs. You're changing arcs to fit this timeline. Like Arlong should not have been at the Baratier. No matter what story you're trying to tell, that should not have happened that way. But everybody keep looking over this stuff like, oh, it's okay. He would have signed off on it. What? We don't even get to see the actual guy he fights there. Like, at all. Like, we see a little piece of his shield as what? Yeah, in that category, yeah, you could probably do all of these arcs and not ever meet Crocodile in the Alabasta arc, even though that should be the 6th arc that you get to. Yeah, so maybe it is in the next season. They end off a cliffhanger or something like that in Alabasta. That might be what's going to happen because they introducing this new character as Miss Wednesday and not as the princess. So I get that. Cool. But I also don't want them to be like, yeah, you don't get to meet Croc because we go through this Alabasta arc and he ain't a part of this. Like they did with the East Blue arc. That's my issue with the putting all these arcs in one season. Like, it's a reason why One Piece is thousands of episodes long.
I'm going to explain this to you, ladies and gentlemen. Both these men are more One Piece fans than I am. Both these men have watched through a lot of the animated series, the anime. And both these men are right. They are both right. Here's the funny part. I think the reason they're doing this is for people like me. And it's sad to say, and Chris also likes the live action. I think they're doing it for people like who don't really want to go through that 1,000 arc series and just kind of get the Cliff Notes version. Like, in a sense, like the Cliff Notes of, hey.
It's not even a Cliff Notes version.
Well, I know. I get
They're
that.
changing stuff. That didn't happen. They're making it different.
You're not wrong.
They're changing it.
That's what I'm saying. See, that's the difference where I can accept because in my mind they're changing things because they don't have the budget to make the live action 1,000 episodes.
It ain't gotta be 1,000 episodes. You did the same amount of episodes with the same amount of people in the same amount of time. You just changed characters and like the Baratier episode. If it would have been the captain guy who came in there instead of Arlong, it would have hit the same way. Nami still could have took the money and left, and then y'all meet Arlong when she go and leave, like you do in the series. It still would have hit the same. There was no reason for Arlong to be there. No reason at all. It changed the story. It changed the reason things played out. There was no reason for him to be there at all. None. There's no, you can't, Oda couldn't sit here and tell me that there was a reason for him to be there. You're changing.
Hey, Hey, you ain't wrong. You ain't. And here's the funny thing, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not the only thing. That's just the biggest example.
That's the biggest
that
one.
most people will be able to
Yeah,
recognize.
that's the biggest one. I will also say this. It's interesting to me because here's the other thing I think is even more funny. Think about the fact we are supposed to still get the remake of the anime within the next couple of months without all the filler. I'm honestly gonna be surprised if they can keep it the same like the anime right now with all the filler taken out. Because with the filler taken out, it's pretty cohesive story. I think also the other thing about this, we are guaranteed 2 more seasons of the live action show. At least. So we're getting up to 4 seasons total. I remember they talked about that a long time ago. But I think also it's not even. I think the thing is, people are more excited to see where this goes than to see what's different. This man here, Deon, is looking at the small changes they made, and he can see them without skipping a beat. Most people are looking at it with their rose tinted glasses and don't give a care in the world because it's just the thing they love. You love it for different reasons. You just love it. You see the characters in live action. You love it for the story. You love it for whatever. We'll see what happens.
See the ends of the spectrum.
I in my work, if as somebody who hasn't watched One Piece the anime, if I watch the second season, I'm kind of like, oh, that seems kind of odd where they play this. Oh yeah, I literally noticed that when we watched the Last Airbender, I thought it was kind of odd where they play some things around or how certain things played out. Generally work, but the overarching story still worked enough. They don't try to make everything beat for beat anymore. Most shows don't with live material unless they have to. Now they can if they want to. I will say this though, before we get to the charts. That's why I love both these gentlemen. They have different takes and different ways of looking at things, and yet it makes for a good podcast. It makes for a good reason to listen. And you can still disagree. You can agree to disagree on things, and yet there's reasons for both sides to be on that point. I have to say this, at least we know that if Netflix screwed this up, they are done with the One Piece anime. We know if Netflix screw it up,
that is the real realization.
If they screwed up, they're done with it. They will not get to do anything else with the anime.
Everybody's
that's the thing.
Believe that deal after Death Note and Bleach.
See, because if this works, we're definitely getting down the road. We're getting a Demon Slayer or whatever live action. We're gonna get those down the road. If this doesn't work, they're just not gonna make anything else live action, and they're gonna pass. We're not gonna see much more live action.
It's going to work though because people want it to work. Fair. Not because it actually works.
Fair.
It's going to work because people want it. Like you said, the rose tinted glasses.
Let's get in these summer charts. Let's get to week 8 of these summer charts from August 16th to August 23rd. Man, this summer chart's acted kind of weird. Number 1 is Oshinoko, went up 1 spot. Too Many Loser Heroines went up 4 spots to 2. No Longer Allowed Another World went up to 6 spots to number 3. Hide My Feelings in Russian would drop 3 spots. Days of My Stepsister dropped a spot. 2.5 Dimension Seduction went up 2 spots. Wisteria Wands and Swords went up 3 spots. Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest went down to down 5 spots to 8. The Elusive Samurai dropped 2 spots. And this is the biggest mover. Mission Yokohama Family went up 13 spots.
Time to catch back up on that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Gee, that's a jump.
13 spots?
Deon, what
the
do you
number 10 spot? Woo.
what do you think about this chart?
I like how it's moved around so much. None of the bigger hitters are even recognized anymore. But 14 spots, bro.
So they were at 23 and they
You
went up
only
to 10.
see like the big boys do movements like that.
And me and Chris stopped watching Yokohama Family because we thought it was done, but they kept going, and it was kind of like I really heard nothing really amazing about the episodes.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. Just like Go Go Loser Ranger.
Yeah.
Like it kind of flamed out towards the end.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by Oshinoko. I am a little surprised by too many loser heroes because it was at 6, so it went up a lot. Feelings in Russian, kind of getting that weird vibe. It's not that good anymore. Days of My Stepsister the same way. I'm happy for 2.5 destruction or dimension destruction. I think that's really good. Wands of Warstoria getting its flowers, which it should be getting ultimately. Fairy Tale kind of dropping off. Go ahead.
That was the last few episodes were actually like intense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't complain really. Chris, do you kind of see the same thing with Deon saying like all the big hitters are kind of falling off and these other ones are just kind of popping up there, or is it just?
Well, yeah, because when you really look at this, how many of these shows in the top 10 are drama based?
1, 2, 3,
Seven?
4, 5, 6,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
7. Okay, 8. I think. I'm the only one I can't really count. If I counted it, it was the Elusive Samurai because I don't think that's a drama. I don't think it's a drama technically, but it can be.
No, I would
Yeah.
switch Elusive Samurai as a drama and take out with Story of Wand and Sword is not a drama.
Okay, there we go. That's okay. That's fair. Yeah, there's a lot of dramas on this. Too many to count.
So I'm saying that as to say it, like yeah, there's a trend, and personally, I don't really care for it because honestly, I feel like Failure Frame should have been on this list somewhere.
Failure Frame. I parry everything.
let
Yes.
me look because I want to see where if you. All right, so 10 through 20 or
Same
11
thing
through
we've
20.
seen for the last 3 seasons, though, man.
Cafe Terrace is at 11. My Dear Friend Nokata is at 12. My Hero is at 13. Tower of God is at 14. Pseudo Harem is at 15. Spice and Wolf is at 16. Time I Get Reincarnated Slime is at 18. Why Nobody Remembers It in This World is at 19. That should be higher. Failure Frame is only at 20.
Yeah, and that's a shame.
Failure Frame is doing really good. The Osan adventure is really good. I parry everything is supposed to be really good. Shoot, 100 Year Quest is really good.
Yeah. So if I kept going, so V Triple Legends at 24, I Parry is at 25. Look at something. And then, yep, that's right. Unseen Avengers at 26. The strongest magician in the Leaving Lord's Army is at 28, which should be higher. Yeah, there's some ones I'm kind of weird. I don't know why they're so low. Mocha Punch should be higher. That's 35. Shy season 2 is at 37. Like there's some Bye Bye Earth and Plus Size Elves is right 40 and 41 respectively.
Where's my Earth?
40.
Wow.
Plus Size Elves is 41. Dungeon People, we're watching episode 7 tonight, so get that up in a second. We'll get to that. Is at 44. Yeah, it's kind of bad. Fable, which is still going on, is at 49, which I forgot they were still continuing. Yeah, there's some ones in here that should be higher. It's not even
There's some
close.
bias going on in these charts, man.
Because if Chris's theory is right, 8 of the top 10 is drama, and everything else, because like My Hero should be higher, but it's probably not because I know the last episode wasn't great. This current episode I just finished, it's really good. So next chart, I know Tower of God's a good episode show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. This is really weird. Chris, go through the other chart, and then we'll get to Dungeon People.
Let me ask you this though.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Before we get through the other chart, I want to ask this question so we can think about it throughout the other chart. Do you think it's really that these animes are bad off, or is that it's just so many good animes right now, good shows going on right now? Because I'm listening to these shows and I'm like, yeah, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. Is it just that it's so many good shows and there can only be 10 in the top?
Well, I do have a proposal for you guys.
Okay.
Each one of us needs to go and actually watch one of these all the way through, and then come back and ask ourselves, is it really worthy to be in the spot that it's in?
The drama
in the top 10?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I'm not watching Oshinoko. I've read the manga.
I'll watch Oshinoko.
Okay. I'm like, I'm not watching that one.
Okay. I've done 2, but I can continue. Deon, you can either take.
Seen that already, right?
I'm up to date I'm almost up to date with I'm like episode behind.
Yeah.
Between that and Elusive Samurai, I'm like pretty much caught up with the 2 things I would keep up with.
I'm caught up with Elusive Samurai at 2.5.
Okay, so I'll give you Elusive Samurai. I'll catch up with 2.5.
Okay then. So I'm the only person that's really got to watch the whole season.
Yeah, I think I'll watch How's My Feelings in Russian, because that's one I haven't watched at all. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
that's still on top 10, right? It's like 4.
Yeah,
I watched.
But starting on this other list, so number 1, Oshinoko. 2, Too Many Losing Heroines. 3, How's Her Feelings in Russian. 4, Spice and Wolf. 5, My Hero. 6, Tower of God. 7, Reincarnated as a Slime. 8, Wistoria. 9, Pseudo Harem. 10, Elusive Samurai. 11, Montagari series. 12, Days of My Stepsister. 13, My Dear Friend Nokotan. 14, How to Become Ordinary. 15, No Longer Now in Another World. I'll stop there.
it's funny to me because the first 2 are the exact same for the anime corner list. The only thing that switched is the fact that No Longer Another World is lower on the Reddit list, and Russian is 3rd. And then Tower of Gods, like I'm happy My Hero is in the top 5 because that makes sense. It should be. Like I don't really get why it's not in. Well, fair enough. Yeah, this list is more representative of what actually is going on right now. Sadly, it is.
That's why I like comparing both of these, though.
Say that again.
That's why I like comparing both of these charts.
Oh yeah, it's weird because if that's the case, the dramas aren't doing well in the watch charts based on people watching them, but they're doing better in the voting stuff for corner, which tells me either people aren't watching them and more hearing people talk about them, or something of that nature, vice versa. Like I don't really know where that would be a custom. But we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things where I think you need a jump. You need a shonen that can really shonen or adventure series that can really like inject themselves into the top 10. It is hard to do that right now, and I don't know what can do that soon because we're about to get into the fall season. The fall season
I don't
starts.
think we have one that can right now.
Oh, we don't. Absolutely not. Nowhere near. I mean, we have 4 weeks left. We'll see what the 4 weeks come up after this and see how that kind of plays out. But it seems like, for the sake of argument, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. For the sake of argument, I think dramas are gonna be your new shonen type. In the sense that I think they're gonna control what happens with certain. That genre is gonna be the top genre for a good bit for now.
Well, not next season.
Not next season. Not next. I think next season is going to be the outlier, but I think the seasons after that, it's like the next couple seasons, we'll see dramas be tops outside of a random one-off season.
I mean, but we've said that before. We've said that before.
Oh, we have.
And they still held out that number one spot. They still held out those top 3 spots. Now, granted, some of them were getting pieced up, but they still, like, when Beyond Journey's End and what was the other one? They still held down the number one spot. Yeah. Even when we had a packed house of shonen.
Yeah.
Where's the world coming?
Well, because I think the thing is, people want to see. I know we talked about this with Solo Leveling. People want to see that gritty, like blood and gore fight, and then that will pick everybody up.
People who watch anime to go ahead and get in relationships and stop finding out for other anime characters. Can we normalize?
So you're saying stop? You're basically saying stop the shipping at this point, which is
like, bro, can we normalize being normal that's not normal no more? Like, can we?
I mean, you're asking a lot.
Bro,
yeah, we'll see.
Dojo does not like you, bro. Quit.
Like, I'm kind of peeking at the shows that's coming out for the fall. I'm not seeing, the only dramas I'm seeing right now is like 2.5. And and with the lineup that is coming with, it ain't gonna survive.
No, it's
not. They're still continuing.
What you say?
Are there any continuing?
That's it. 2.5.
Just 2.5 is continuing. But Chris, I think 2.5 can get kind of spicy. If you really wanted to go down the realm what they're about to head to, you can get kind of spicy with it. Also, remember it's on High Dive. It's also on High Dive, so that's also kind of like that's where I'm like, yeah, you can get spicy if you really want to. You just kind of.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like, even Bleach is coming out.
Fair.
And that's the tip of the iceberg.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You ain't wrong.
Like, I wish I could go down this list because it's stacked. Like,
wait, what?
Like,
my bad.
Hold up, because I got to go through at least some of these so y'all can see this.
All right, go through the top 5, or go through your top 5 that you think will be hitters.
Okay, can y'all still hear me right now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know how long it's gonna last. Shoot, I can't. Okay, ReZero third season of I can't pronounce that one. Dungeon, dang it. There goes 2.5 again. Shangri-La, Blue Lock, Bleach, Sword Art Gun Gale, Dan, uh, can't
Okay,
pronounce that.
you can stop it right there.
Demon Lord retry.
Like you can stop it because you added you said Dan to Dan Bleach. We're getting ReZero back. We're getting back Shangri-La. I forget. We're getting Gun Gale from the people who made Sword Art Online. Like at this point, that's the problem. We're getting a bunch of stuff like that, but I'm also kind of being interested. I think the thing is, there's gonna be a couple dramas within that we don't know about, and they're gonna kind of hit the spark, and that's the
They
weird
go
thing.
back.
And that's
Now
the
you
that's
know
the,
what? I don't disagree with that because there are some that I can't pronounce
that are
that are
probably
new. That they
yeah.
look action based, but you don't know.
And that's the other side of this coin. Slice of life. Slice of life is the other side of this coin. We don't get used a lot of, but we got a lot from this season for it.
And don't forget about the isekais.
Correct.
In the to sports space, you got Blue Lock coming back.
Yeah, Blue Lock coming back
Woo.
for the first time in how long? Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know. We'll see what happens with this fall season because if we get a good balance of shonen, slice of life, isekai, drama, I think you won't have the bigger problem like dramas and
oh
isekai.
yeah, and don't forget about all of the Olympic players who did all types of anime. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't talk about it, but yeah, we had a lot of people do anime
there's
go
going
get.
to be a show for every anime fan base in the fall.
Yeah,
Every
shout out
one of them.
the break dancers of Australia, bro.
That was funny. That's good. That's good. Good. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like, I don't think if it's a good balance, the balance will be fine. If it's overstretched at one side or the other, then it's gonna break that balance. We know how that's gonna work because dramas are easy to write and easy to animate, probably more than shonens are. Same with adventure anime. Easy to they're not as hard to animate or write for because you can make, the story has to be more cohesive. Drama anime story don't have to be cohesive. The story can be anything. Isekai story can be anything, but we'll see. But let's get into Dungeon People, episode 7. This episode's gonna be kind of interesting
I
because
really been watching that right there. Nah,
um,
but
this episode's gonna be kind of interesting. This episode's gonna be kind of building off what we had from last week. I think though this title's interesting too. Monster job interviews. So we'll kind of see where they're gonna go with this. But in a second, I will say 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get going. Gentlemen, you ready?
There you go.
one second.
No worries.
I'm gonna just throw these on so y'all don't hear
Mhm.
Johnny Echo. All right, we good.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, go. Episode 7, Monster Job Interview. Wait, is he visualizing the
Yep.
skeleton? Oh, wow.
Shadow.
I still really like this intro.
Oh, it's really good. It's so good.
I'm not too crazy about the music, but it is cool.
You don't like the music? That's my favorite part.
It's just agree to disagree.
See, think about it though. It hasn't got to mash levels yet.
Nah, I don't think nothing to get to that mash level. Kaiju number 8 came close, but
Yeah, because I definitely have both of them on my playlist.
and they all was fighting for Jujutsu Kaisen spot.
Yes, they were.
So
I love it. Says you can't talk to anybody really outside, right? Well, yeah, it's in my
Nope.
contract. It's in my contract. I love it.
Yep. Got you sworn in secrecy.
Is this the void? What is this room? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't think I'm just as confused as you is
Yeah.
right now.
What was
Yep.
that? Are you on excess of crash because she's hiring from Demon World?
Oh wow.
Wait. She said she hires with anyone with a bare minimum intelligence.
Yep.
But wouldn't you hire somebody that has at least a decent amount of intelligence so you can have a good amount of dungeon like the creatures?
But that's the point.
There's a job for everybody. Like
That's fair.
Like,
low level goblins and
yeah,
skeletons.
so he might be a low level dragon, so he wouldn't necessarily be at one of the bottom floors, but maybe one of the top floors, as
Hmm.
maybe like a challenge.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, how much intelligence do you need to point and fire?
Or point and bite.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. That's
like
true.
go attack.
Like, is it? He's an animal.
Oh, the kitty! It's so cute.
Whoa. What a giant cat.
All valid questions.
It reminds me of Snorlax. That was a short interview. What the world? That's a giant summoning circle. Who are you about to summon?
That's a huge circle.
Like, what are you summoning at that point? Oh, okay.
Did you almost cuss, Brandon?
Well, the way they panned up and
Oh,
they showed the character, that was amazing.
we
No,
might be turning you into a bad influence, huh? Okay.
no, not at all.
Well, shit, that boy is tall.
Literally, they showed like the way she'd look at him. They pan the camera up and then she looks. She's like, he's huge, and like it just kind of like dawned on her, like, wait, he's way intelligent. All right. Well, you're about to fry her brain.
Mm. There's so much to unpack in that conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot. So basically, she covers all the jobs that multiple people will be doing.
Because most of the people equate her as a demon, they when they see her, they automatically think they're in the demon world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only because they see people who can manipulate magic like her as demons. Because magic doesn't exist in their world.
Correct. So oh, that's kind of creepy.
No, it ain't.
That was gangster.
Well, okay, I think it's cool, but it's also creepy for her because she hasn't done that yet, technically, as a character.
Oh,
No, he's not listening.
he don't even understand what's about to befall him.
He's had a one-track mind this whole time, and that one-track mind's kind of stayed that way.
He said, "Yes, please do."
She's doing Matrix level. Yeah.
So she mastered what she had been trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Whoa. Clean cut. Multiple clean cuts.
Bruh, she the wrong one.
Ow! Oh, gee. Literally rips his arm out, does a fatality with it, and just like throws him. Yeah, that's insane. Nope.
Ooh.
Well, this got brutal. Faster than it should have.
How is this anime not farther up on the list, bro?
Because it's a slice of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, a slice of life.
But I do agree, it should be higher. My word.
Bruh. What? Wait, what?
Wait. Are they saying basically if you get so strong, you just become in a vegetative state to the point where you have a one track mind and you get weaker?
If you're turned into a zombie, yeah. Mm,
Oh, they hired one. What is she doing?
I don't know.
She trying to speak dragon.
Oh, she's trying to speak his language. Okay. I see. That's what I thought, but it's not really explained well. All right, Chris, I'll let you do the honors for this because you've been doing it for all these episodes. Do however you want to do it. This episode of cooking, go right ahead.
Yeah, this whole episode is basically a set of interviews. And whether you've been in an interview or being the person being the interviewee, this bro. And we saw multiple levels and multiple different species all the way go from the top jumping the different levels all the way down. And then we get to the last guy, who was a complete rando, openly admitted to murdering the last interviewer, and then says what he wants, meets, and then he acts like he's gonna get what he wants. He think he's big and bad, and then clearly when everybody's starting to get ticked off, they fight. Have I missed anything so far?
Nope, not at all.
Okay, so this fight then. Oh, but I don't even think you can really call that a fight. Like compared to how fast our main character was moving, dude was just really just swinging his sword around. And then she takes off an arm and then completely immobilizes him, cutting all the main arteries and all the main spots. So, and then as the administrator is trying to at least give him his last bit of whatever, she tried to give him a last bit of reprieve. And then he went to try to grab her, which was an even bigger mistake. In grabbing and attempting to grab her, she flings him clear across her stage with the arm still in her hand. And then the sad part is that the dude didn't even make it to the ground before our main character comes and cleanly decapitates him and a piece of his shoulder. And then we're gonna say, oh yeah, we're gonna reuse the body. Yeah, we're gonna make a zombie out of him. Yeah, like that's normal. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that man.
um, yeah, I mean, first off, you ain't wrong. I appreciate how you explain that. Get up episode 20 of Shy. We'll get into that in a minute. Deon, what you think about this episode? Because this episode was insane. And the back half of this episode, and you said something. I think you said something, and I think me and Chris agreed. You said this should be higher. And the reason that I said it wasn't because it was a slice of life. Go ahead and explain what you think about this episode.
This episode gives you, I mean, it is a slice of life, but it gives you enough energy from it that it is an entertaining watch and an enjoyable watch. And it's not as mundane as most slice of lives. Don't get me wrong, slice of lives can be good, but for the most part, they're more story based than anything else. This gives you mystique. It gives you a little action, a little drama. Like this has a story within a story. Like it's just well crafted. Um, yes, I feel like it should be higher on the list for sure.
I'm gonna ask you this then. What would you give Dungeon People episode 7 for a rating?
Mm. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Chris, heading to you. What would you give Dungeon People episode 7 for a rating?
Bro, this episode is gonna get a 9.5 for me. Bro, that action scene really came out of nowhere and it was gruesome. And then the fact that you still covered all your bases with this show and still keep the consistency, 9.5.
I will give you this, gentlemen. This is probably one of the few shows where I'm like, man, you're just making a normal slice of life living in a dungeon. But then you do the random thing of like, okay, somebody goes rogue, somebody kills your last interviewer. I'll let my assistant handle you. No worries. Then you're sitting our main characters kind of goes ham. Then ultimately the lady who runs it and is like, she's so strong. She's overly strong. She's too strong. I think I've made somebody way stronger than I should have. But, she was kind of worried, but she got through it. Our main character got through it. It feels like our ending sequence is going to be finding out her dad got through this dungeon and got to the point where he is so strong, he just blew through it. Yeah, this episode was great. Like this episode, this is like I said before. This is one of the few animes where I tell somebody go watch it. If you need a good anime to watch, this is a good one to start out with. Absolutely, because it gives you everything. And ultimately, I would have to give this like a 10. This episode deserves it. This episode's earned it, and the story is there.
Wait a minute. Wait, pause.
Go
Isn't
ahead.
that means this show has gotten 2 10s from you,
Yes.
episode by
Yeah,
episode.
okay. I thought I was tripping.
Yes, it
Oh,
has. Yes, I have. Yes, it has.
like wow, this show is really getting this much hype. Wow, okay, might have to reevaluate some things.
I think because it's simple but still complex. It's interesting, but it still has a easy to tell story. The characters are all like mostly likable for the most part. The characters are all interesting. The characters they're not overly complex one way or the other. And each of them have their own motivations. Each of them have their own reasons for being there. It feels like they meticulously understood what they wanted to do with this show. And that's hard to do with something like this. And still also make it fun. It's not easy. And yes, this is the only show I've given like 2 10s back to back. Outside of I think Dead Mount Death Play was the other thing when we first started the podcast. So I gave him these shows like a lot of credit, more than I probably would have for anything else. But I think they deserve it. This Dungeon People deserves it. It hasn't stepped a foot wrong. I think the only thing it's gonna keep doing is keep going up from here. We'll have to see. But let's get into Shy episode 20. And this finally gets to the battle we've all been waiting for between the sister, Shy, and our Shinobi girl. And we'll see how this fight kind of comes down. We only have 4 episodes left of this season for this season for this, so we'll see how it pans out. In a second, I will say 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get going. Gentlemen, you ready?
All right, let's go.
All right. And
Why
3.
you always my bad.
Oh, no worries. Take your time.
This episode, what now?
20.
Right? That was messed up. I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, no worries. 3, 2, 1, go. Episode 20, A Nice Guy. Huh. That's an interesting title. We'll see why in a second. I think this opening should get more love, but it hasn't. It's very simple, but it's actually really good. Oh, we get the British dude. This is why we get that fight. They're waiting on her. Oh, you cut the so he wasn't stupid. And you're freaked out because you're a ghost, but yet, huh?
Well, she's freaked out because she doesn't know how to fight.
Oh, wow, that was kind of
Really?
yeah,
That was anticlimactic.
very much so.
Very spot on for this show to be anticlimactic.
I kind of waited for you to say that. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Whoa!
Oh, snap.
What?
Okay.
Oh, he likes pain. He doesn't care.
Uh,
Oh, Oh
Oh.
God. So she's a Poe from Legend of Zelda.
Okay, the
Say what
symbolism.
now? Say what now? Say what?
No,
Okay. Uh, all right.
no.
Mm, mm. And Deon's like silently like, what? But what's going on?
Yeah, because I want to say a lot, but I'm not. I'm not.
Duh. So she controls his soul, basically. He's like a puppeteering him. Like a oh, this
There's so much symbolism on this right now.
wait, he's oh, they did the thing I didn't. Oh, I didn't see it the first time. Wow. How'd they get away with that?
It's religion. You can do anything with it.
Yeah, you can, but it's also kind of hard. Most people would not use.
Well, you do realize this show is like in the 50s on the chart, so
Yeah, true. That's also true. He's not scared of dying.
Mm.
Man, why did it turn into a fighting game all of a sudden? Huh. Alrighty then. Ooh,
Oh,
that's creepy.
that's creepy. Brandon, I said it in season one. That guy's a demon.
You might be right, but what kind and why?
There's so much symbolism, and just like Deon said, like low key, this is the kind of stuff you gotta read your Bible to kind of figure out.
Yeah, and this is because
Like,
they did this in season one. In season one, when they did it, it was like, oh wow, y'all really went there.
like Deon, am I lying?
Not at all.
Like, you see the
Even
symbolism. The
down to the
symbolism.
blonde hair, blue eyed.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
The New World Order.
Third eye, red background.
Mhm.
Whoa. Okay. Wait, are you the? Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was thinking. I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking.
We're getting closer to his true form.
Yeah.
There's an eye of Horus.
Oh, he come back in the story. We haven't seen him in a while.
But she did ask for him last episode.
Oh, that's symbolism. All right. Yeah. Throw from last episode. The
Mm-hmm.
flashback. Nope. Whoa.
Ooh.
So she was set into a trap. Oh, uh, I don't know what that episode was, and I can't explain it. Here's the thing. I'll just put it this way. The first half of this was everything with Stardust, and he was trying to stop Sigma from what he was doing. But we had one of Sigma's uh, like people he works under that works under him try to fight Stardust. Doesn't really work out. Stardust ends up losing that fight for the first part, and then she takes back over when Sigma almost gets hurt. Ultimately, the Ghost Girl tries to control Stardust. Stardust can't really do much. They put Stardust in like this cross-looking thing with the sword going through the knives going through his arms, and you think it's over. But Stardust picks himself back up because he knows he's somebody that was weak, like Shy, but Shy always picked herself up and got stronger. Then ultimately, Stardust fights back, beats up the Ghost Girl, breaks away from her spell of him controlling him, tries to beat Sigma some more. Sigma finally turns into his like next form that we're gonna see, and then Sigma just leaves with the Ghost Girl. Stardust knows what's about to happen. Stardust ends up trying to tell Sentry, "Hey, we need to get talk to the girls inside, or something's gonna go down. Something's bad happening. Something's not great. If they break this orb, there's gonna be so many casualties." And then we see her, the Shinobi Princess's bodyguard, come and say, "Let me do it." And Stardust like, "Who are you?" Then we cut to the girls in the orb, and we kind of have the back and forth talk, and they already had a mini fight that we didn't see kind of off screen. Well, we saw last episode a little bit off before on screen, but part of it was off screen too. Then they kind of talk, and she's like, "You don't have to be this way. You didn't do all these things." And the evil sister's going, "I did all these things. I hurt so many people. I did this for self-righteousness. I did for all these things." Sisters can't believe it, but they try to fight back. Good back and forth fight. Ultimately, the evil sister puts her sword through Shai's shoulder and tells her sister, "If you come any closer, I'm gonna tear her. I'm gonna slice her shoulder off her body, including her arm." And then Shai kind of talks to her and says, "You're not this way," and she burns the sword, pulls it out. Ultimately, the other sister was like, "You're not like this," and she kind of thinks back to what her master said. They're trying to, and he says, "We went to try to find her. Once we find her, she's done as a shinobi. You know the rules." But she's my, and then he kind of stops her from saying she's my sister and all this kind of stuff. And ending up, this ends up becoming a thing where she's like, "I have to end you now. I wanted to take you back to the village, but I can't. We're going to have to end you now." And she says, "Oh, you're going to take me back to the village anyway, because I killed everybody in the village." She has all these katanas that she is, like the evil sister shows that she destroyed all these people. Then they go to like a little sword battle with their swords, like doing different things and things. Ultimately, the evil sister, loses her guard, gets stabbed in the chest or in the stomach, and that ends her. But does it really? No, because this evil sister planned for this all along. And now there were two people, now they're one. And now she turned into this little cat girl slash good slash evil cat girl with white robe. I don't know what you want to call this. And now they're going up against Shy is all by herself. Chris, what was this episode? What'd you think?
My God, I don't know what this episode was. Like it had some parts that was going well for it, And then we got hit with a bunch of satanic symbolism. And then they tried to explain it. And then towards the end, they combined good and evil, yin and yang. And it was like, bruh, this show is crossing so many lines. I feel like I'm finna go have to put a whole new blessing on my house just for watching this episode.
Hold on. Uh, Deon, what'd you think of this episode?
Typical shy.
I need a little more context.
So it starts off with the aspirations of a really good fight. For it to be anticlimactic, like what? He just levels up and then runs away. Like, what was the point of that? Um, then we get into this very, very touchy feel. It wasn't even a fight. It was a argument between sisters over who mommy loved the most. This, oh, yeah. I will say this show is drawn very well. The artistry in this show is beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's very well done. Absolutely.
But goodness, man. It is
I
very hard to sit through those long drawn out conversations about nothing.
Now that reminds me of Dead Mount Death Play, and usually with that they would go, not necessary to listen to. With some conversations here, everything they kind of say has a point. For the most part, there are a few conversations that don't have a point, but you have to kind of decipher what the point is and what's not necessary to understand.
Is it sad to say I still don't understand what the main point of this show is about?
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Like, I'm
They
not a dumb guy. Like, I'm not
no,
trying to
no, no,
sound
not
arrogant or nothing,
like
but
not at
I'm
all.
not an
Yeah.
idiot, and I still can't discern the point of this show.
So what I'm getting at, if we're getting yin and yang, the yin and yang combine to make a mix of good and evil. One side's good, the other side's bad. Yet on the flip side of that, you have the heroes that are technically your bad. You're supposed to be your good guys, and you have Sigma who's your bad guy. Sigma wants to just do whatever he wants with the people and not really care, and everybody's trying to save that. At the same point, there's no real reason for Sigma to do what he's doing without a purpose of taking over the world, which he doesn't really want to do.
Exactly,
But
right
he had,
there, that
yeah,
part.
yeah,
It's like I know what you're physically trying to do. I don't have a why for this show. There's
yeah.
no why. This is Pinky in the Brain. Hey, we're gonna try to take over the world. Like what?
I will give them some credit because they do a very good job with the symbolism stuff, even though it's kind of out there at points. Even Denmark Death Play did a good job with symbolism stuff, and it was still interesting.
Yeah, this is wild.
But I think it's also crazy because what how much are you going to do the symbolism without giving us context? The context doesn't make sense. Are you basically saying that Sigma is kind of the anti savior,
The
basically? Like,
context can't make sense because the content doesn't make sense.
that's right. There you go.
I do like how they how they crucify their their blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus.
Yeah, pretty much. That
See?
when you said blonde haired
See?
boy, I was like, "Where are y'all going?" I'm like, "Oh wait, they did a."
Yep.
I was like, "Oh yeah, they did that. Really?
How
Okay."
had the entire world looking up to this man and then they crucified him.
Yeah, because he's a movie star. He's yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
He's everyone's favorite hero and all that. So he's their JC and he got crucified in front of everybody to bring out fear throughout the world. Wow.
I'm gonna ask for this,
Yeah.
and I probably understand. I think I know where both of you men going, but Deon, I'll ask you first. What do you give Shy episode 20, a nice guy, for a rating?
I'll give it a 4.5.
Okay, okay,
I think that's my highest shy rating yet.
yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Chris, what did you give Shy episode 20, a nice guy, for a rating?
I I'm going to give it a 6.659.
Yep. I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say a 6.66.
He didn't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's I see why. Yeah. I. It's weird. Y'all are both aren't wrong. I'll ask you, Chris, because I don't know if Dan remembers when he did Dead My Death Play. Do you? Do y'all both think Dead My Death Play had more cohesion than what this has, but yet still did the creepy stuff well?
Yep.
Okay, absolutely. Because
Okay.
Dead Mountain Death Play had everything they came up with based off another world that we haven't seen, which is somewhat plausible. Okay. So, but the fact that this show crossed some lines, really, it's like,
This
come
is
on
more
now.
real world based. Where Dead My Death Play had a secret organization mystery they were trying to uncover. So everything made sense. This, like, we don't have a why, so nothing makes sense. So you're just throwing a bunch of random stuff out there that's supposed to stick to the audience, and
Which is symbolism in itself.
yeah, and it's not catching. It's
Okay.
especially for somebody like me. I'm not like attuned to.
That kind of stuff. Yeah. This is tough for me. I'm gonna ultimately give this like a 3. Only because I think it's one of those episodes where it has a lot of stuff going on, which is good. But if you don't follow the dialogue, all that dialogue will go over your head. A lot of the symbolism will go over your head if you don't understand it. And you're gonna be like confused why they did this, why did they do that, all that kind of stuff. At least with Death Note Death Play, I will be honest, they will at least explain why they do certain things.
Well, can I be honest?
Go ahead.
I want to change my score.
Fair enough.
All I want to do is just move the decimal point to the ones place.
Mm, mm,
Oh, wow. Ew.
mm.
Ew. 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 Yeah. All right. All right. Why the
That's
change?
not fair, bro. That's not fair. I'm actually trying to be nice to this show because I like the art style.
I do. Hey, I agree with you. I do. I
Well,
mean,
then, all fairness, I'll just keep mine at a 0.
Bro, in comparison to the other episodes, this is a top tier episode.
But the symbolism across lines for me.
It definitely did, but when is it not? Like, this.
Okay, it can be redeemed in the next episode because there has to be some kind of if equal, equal and opposite reaction.
we're getting that resolution. We're guaranteed a resolution between Shy and the two and the
which
girls. Getting,
is to me becomes Dante's Inferno.
yeah. But
So
also,
this ain't that deep.
we're also getting a resolution because we're getting this Shinobi guy coming into that orb. So we're
Yeah.
also guaranteed that too. So we don't.
I
I don't
just
know where they're taking it
want
from.
some cohesion.
Yeah.
so
Well, you're not.
there's got to be something to come and make sense of this. That's
Like, because overall, this entire show gets a 0 from me. The entire show. So all my ratings are based off of the other episodes.
yeah.
Just so y'all know. I'm not rating this based off of Deon's standards of anime ratings.
and to be honest, in our previous episodes, I did say if it wasn't coming hidden by this scene, all of my the next episode can drop to a 0.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
You did. You did that. I think the thing is they want that the story is that this is where a story can get complex. You need to understand who the characters are. We haven't got much about Sigma in the sense of who Sigma is as a person. Who was he
We haven't
before
got
he
much
turned?
about any of them.
We at least got enough about like the mom who got evil, who turned evil. We got the girl, the Joker girl. We've gotten other evils, but we haven't got all the evil. Like Sigma's the only evil we really haven't gotten a real reason behind.
But what
Who
are
you
their
got?
ties to the story?
That's the other part. That's the other part. I think we have to get that, or this is going to make no sense.
This
Down the
whole
road.
show could just go kick rocks.
And I also think too, if this is kind of where we're going to get a season 3 now. I think they're not going to resolve this in one
I'll
season.
put it this way. At least the season hasn't dropped worse like Match did. It didn't have a harder fall than Match.
That's fair. That is fair. Also, that's a low bar. That's also another low bar to clear. Very low bar to clear.
Consistently bad though. Like I know y'all said y'all liked season 1, but for me it's so bad I can't even remember season. I can't remember what happened in the last episode. Like I don't know, man.
Let us know what y'all think about Shy in the comments, because I think Shy is one of those weird ones. Like Deon said before he ended watching it, by the end of the episode, he's like, it's low on that list because of what it is of the anime corner list. I understand why it's low. I get why it's low. It's one of those things where at least Deadmau definitely hit the top 15 every once in a while. This can't get in the top 20.
Why is
top
Dungeon
30.
People close to this one? Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. But I get, yeah, that's also the thing. Dungeon People's close to it too, which some people probably shouldn't. But it's also one of those ones on high dive which people aren't going to go out of their way to find. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Episode 21 is next for Shy. Episode 8 is next for Dungeon People, so we'll get into those. We'll also have some news and things. This will go up on Spotify after it processes, and then it will go up on YouTube on Thursday. I do thank these gentlemen for joining me. We'll be back for episode 71 next Tuesday. I do thank you for watching. Hope you did enjoy, and hope you next time. See you.
Peace.